Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And today today, but not really today. But let's skip that for right now. As you know, we all know how racism is ramping up, but not for black people, but for white people. And we're seeing now that there is a real type of racism happening, and it's only happening in these democratic cities, and we're seeing racism being pushed against white people. Now, people are going to say like, "Oh, white people have this privilege or whatever and whatnot." Yeah, well, there is such thing as white privilege, first off, and two, they're being definitely being racified against in a big margin, and white racism is actually starting to peak. So, I think this is a huge issue, and right now I will show you exactly what that means. Minneapolis Public Schools to fire white teachers first, thanks to Teachers Union. A contract between the Minneapolis Public School District and Teachers Union calls for white teachers to be fired before minority teachers, according to the contract contained by the Daily Caller. On March 25th, the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers and the Minneapolis Public Schools struck a deal to end a 14-day union strike. The deal included a bargaining agreement for various proposals, including one that fires educators based on their race, according to Alpha News. Starting with the spring 2023 budget tie-out cycle, if accessing a teacher who is a member of a population underrepresented among licensed teachers in the site, the district shall access the last senior teacher who is not a member of an unrepresented population, the contract reads. Minority teachers may also be exempted from district-wide playoffs outside seniority order and given priority reinstatement according to the contract. The contract attempts to protect teachers at 15 racially isolated schools from layoffs. These schools house the greatest concentration of poverty within the district. The race-based firing process is intended to make up for past discrimination by the district, disproportionately impacting the hiring of underrepresented teachers in the district as compared to the relevant labor market and the community. This disparity resulted in a lack of diversity of teachers, according to the contract. Minneapolis public schools are racially and ethnically diverse, according to data from U.S. News. 37% of students are white, 33% are black, and 17% are Hispanic. The same data finds that the graduation rate among Minneapolis schools is approximately 53%. Minneapolis public schools spokeswoman Christiana Lugo Beach reiterated to the political call that the contract was crafted to remedy the continuing effects of past discrimination. Minneapolis Public Schools and the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers mutually agreed to a contract language that aims to support the recruitment and retention of teachers from underrepresented groups as compared to the labor maker market and the community served by the school district, Lugo said. The Minneapolis Federation of Teachers did not respond to the Daily Caller request for comment. Okay, so we have this article saying that, and I like how it has skin color is not a crime, but it honestly is, because obviously you're firing teachers that are based off of race, which is discrimination, which is also racism. So it really shows that the school is racist, and they should be immediately the federal government, which they most likely won't do, should be rained down upon them because of actual racial issues. Because this seems to be a very racial thing. Now we go into this next article here. As stated, Fury as Minneapolis Teachers Union negotiates a clause requiring white educators to be laid off first, regardless of seniority, to make up for past discriminations. Rule is part of a contract that ended 2-week strike this past March. So, as we see here, is that we're seeing a lot of these people vote for this, and it's a serious form of racism. I don't think these people realize how racist they're actually being, and this is what I'm talking about. White people are in more danger of getting in trouble through actual racism from other people of the society than black people are, and this is just a reality. So in order to bring another group up, which we found that they have been making terrible decisions in life, that we should prop these people up and discriminate against another group of people. And this is the whole reason why I do not like the whole Democratic mantra, because either way, they're always racist in some regard. They're either racist against black people or they're racist against white people. There is no gray area. And people will say, oh, black people can't be racist. Well, definitely black people can be racist, because we notice that we know quite a few racial things have happened under black people, and we've also noticed that that there were 3 teenagers that attacked a woman not because of her own political view, but also because she was white. So you miss me with that bullshit when you're trying to say that there is no that there is no thing. As we can see now, is that black people are obviously being the most racist group right now, and they think it's okay because because they were discriminated against. That's not right. That's not how this works. And it's true to show that these people are the true racist ones here out of all of it. So, that being said, is that we now have Christopher F. Rufo, the Minneapolis Teachers Union, has negotiated a contract in which the district will fire teachers. This is an inevitable endpoint of equity. And this is what we're talking about, how equity is more of a danger, and all these pieces going on. So yeah, all this racism stuff is happening here, and it's a great concern. So what it goes on to say, the stipulation was first hinted at back in March when an agreement was first struck, citing the fact that the most senior teachers in Minneapolis are majority white and people of color were typically in the first on the chopping block when layoffs happened. Union reps told NPR News at the time that this protected about half of the teachers of color in the district. Some conservative activists were outraged, including public school reform activist Christopher Rufo. He tweeted, "This is a nettle endpoint of equity." On Fox News, Terrell, a civil rights attorney who is black, said it's racist, it's discriminatory, it's illegal, it should be invalidated immediately. I read what the union says. They said they want students to have teachers that look like them. Wrong. The students need teachers who will educate them. Educate, not what they look like. Exactly. Sports writer Travis, who runs the website Outkick coverage, agreed, yeah, of course it would. And I agree with everything Leo said. Look at the foundation of the Democratic Party is two things, Sean. It's everything is racist, and America is an awful place. That is basically everything that the Democrats believe. And if you drill down essentially every policy that they advocate for, that's what it is at its essence. Exactly. Like I said, everything that the Democrats do or say is a form of racism. It is a force of hatred because they act like they want to care, but in reality, they don't actually give a damn. They want power and they want control. The same thing can be said about Republicans too, by the way, which we had to vet them as well. And what I'm going to say is that these people are evil. You say you always say you care about transgender people, but in reality, you see the actual danger and the destruction it causes for them. You don't care. You may actually know that the actual true damage that happens, but you don't care, because if you did, then you would try to advocate against it. But no, you don't, because you're trying to say they have to have these rights. We all agree that they have to have rights, but there is a fine line between having rights and then doing what they're doing to children. That's my huge problem with this. And we know you guys advocate for this type of evil tree, and it needs to stop. Former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker also criticized the deal, tweeting, "This is racist, this is illegal, this is another example of why government unions should be eliminated." The 1776 Project PAC, a conservative political unit acting on committee, called the agreement breathtakingly racist and outright unconstitutional. I agree, because you cannot discriminate people based on skin color or what have you, and that's exactly what they're doing. A spokesperson for the school district said, to remedy the continuing effects of past discrimination in Minneapolis Public Schools and the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers, MFT, mutually agreed to contract language that aims to support the recruitment and retention of teachers from underrepresented groups as compared to the labor market and to the community served by the school district. It's the latest essence of teachers union espousing left-wing ideals in education. The FT and the NEA have both endorsed the controversial 1619 Project for Inclusion and School Curriculum. The project, which had its inception as a New York Times op-ed, was hailed a corrective history of slavery in America, but has been fraught with criticism for ignoring facts in favor of revisionist narrative that skews left. Meanwhile, though, the official stance of Randy Weingarten, president of the American Federation of the Teachers Union Labor Union, is that critical race theory is not taught in classrooms. She recently pushed back against parents who spoke out against it. Yet, a Marietta report suggests that those parents' fears that it has seeped into classrooms are well-founded. In Buffalo, New York, students are told that all white people perpetrate systematic racism. The Arizona Department of Education has created an equity toolkit which claims that babies show the first signs of racism at 3 months old and that white children become full racist at 5. No. That's horrendously untrue. Children have no concept of race at all. they the only time that they would ever have a concept of race is if the parents were actively racist to begin with. But babies don't show racism. They have no ability to even form a section of racism, and kids are honestly truly innocent at the core, and they don't understand racism. They will say things that could perceive racist, but it's not because that they're racist, because they just clearly don't understand. Like, when I have a niece that says when I was a child, it's like, oh, I can't see him, he's too dark. That is not a form of actual racism. That is a form of them seeing what is just reality. Yeah, you cannot see black people in dark as clearly as white people. That's just normal. But it wasn't because she was racist. It's because she clearly doesn't understand the difference. Children don't understand a lot of things. That's the reason why we teach them. That's why we raise them. They have to understand things, and that's what makes it being a good parent. If you don't raise them correctly, it's a huge issue. So, due to this, we see all these issues that are happening about this type of stuff, and this racism needs to stop. And of course, people are going to point out things like this that have that are going to say this may be good or whatever, but it's not. And they think that there's just racism against black people, but again, as I've been saying before, there's more racism towards white people nowadays than there is black people. A black person can go and shoot at children, a black woman's home, and a bunch of kids, and then there will be a group of people defending that black person, even though he was shot and trying to harm another group of people. That's the type of protections that black people have. And I always say this is that, like, I can go do whatever the hell I want because I can get arrested for what I do. Why should I? Because I'm black. I stand as a superiority compared to you, because compared to white people, I'm apparently better, which is which, if you really think about that, it's incredibly racist, and that's what the Democrats use. They're making black people seem like they're better than anybody else, when they're not. They're just people. They happen to be, commit crimes like, every other race does. Goes to show on how evil some of these people are. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.